Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have an amazing video for you guys today. Here is an article written originally by Fortune, but it is on Yahoo Sports. I will have a link to this article down in the description below. But basically, this is great news for home builders. This is great news for inventory in the housing market. What is happening? Basically, lumber futures are down 62% amid the great reset. Here's when do-it-yourself people can expect the best deals. Now, the lumber price had two huge bubbles, which was at the beginning of the pandemic when everything basically shut down, and then when there was a rush to buy housing at the beginning of the year to make new housing. There was a huge look at how high lumber went, basically making it so unaffordable to even build a house. But since then, things have been coming down. So what does this mean for the housing market? This means basically that cost of materials are now down almost 62% from this bubble right here, from this peak, which is great news because now builders can take more of a risk in building new homes. Even though right now the market is kind of all over the place, interest rates are really high, that really scares builders because they don't want to sit there and build a house and have the house sit, basically empty for a year before someone comes in and buys it. They need to be able to move that money fast, right? So again, now as lumber goes down, as the price of building a home goes down, now remember, we still have high prices for employees, right? So that is still going to be a little bit of, the workers, that they're paying them more now to combat inflation on that end, because remember, we had the Great Resignation where, basically nobody wanted to work, and it caused, employers to have to pay more for the employees. So that part is still going to be expensive. But look, if lumber does go down to these levels, right, that's a great sign, because now we might see builders kind of want to take a little bit more of a risk. If the house is costing them a lot less to build, they might say, hey, you know what? Let me go ahead and make the houses. Look, at the end of the day, right now we are in a housing crunch because we have so little supply, and it is causing a lot of problems. It is causing prices to stay really high. Another thing is that because of inflation, it keeps everything high as a whole. So we need to lower inflation in order for things to get somewhat back to normal. The problem is that now, as everybody's getting paid more, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know if the market is going to stay high, not necessarily because at the supply and demand issue, just because people can't buy and there's not enough supply to bring it down, right? It's almost like it could spiral out of control. I'm afraid that when you look at how much prices rose from 2019 to 2022, we're literally looking at a bubble. And the reason it rose that much is because we had to print a lot of money to get out of coronavirus. And not just us, but the whole world is going through huge economic pains right now. And when you do these shutdowns, we're gonna have to pay for this for years and years. What the government did to basically save the economy was they lowered the rates to zero, and it made financing a lot easier for people. People went in and started borrowing money. Some people got free money from the government, for the corona relief. But regardless of what happened, right, it made prices shoot up, 20, 30, 40% in some areas. And now we're in a situation where everything is more expensive. And now it's creating an environment where we just have a lot less buyers, and we need these prices to come down. Now, yes, I'm happy that lumber is kind of going down. It's going back to normal levels, which is a great thing. The problem is we don't know what the effects of this is going to have over the next year, right? Because I still think, we're not out of the woods, man. Not even close. We just started. If you look at the hump, I believe that this was the peak of the housing market. Now, I've been thinking though, yes, I want the prices to come down to 2019 levels, but in order for that to happen, we're gonna need to really tamper down inflation. If we can't tamper down inflation and inflation stays high and GDP goes down, right? So basically, people, just to get the basic needs, people are spending their whole paycheck on just the necessities and not going out and buying other stuff that basically keeps the economy, pumping. If that's the case and we have slower growth, GDP growth, then you're gonna see a situation where prices might still stay up high, because there's gonna be, even though there's gonna be less buyers, there's also gonna be less sellers, and you're also going to have situations where money becomes less valuable, right? That's the definition of inflation, is basically your money, your dollar goes a lot less. So we're gonna have to see how this all pans out. I mean, what does this mean to you, right? If you're selling a house, at this point, I would say, talk to a financial advisor and see, like, when is the best time, or is it better to hold on? I don't see the prices going up, but I have seen some areas where their prices have been going up, like, weirdly enough, right? So because we just had a break on the rates, so some people decided to jump back in the market. Some people decided to finally get that refi, and get that refinancing and whatnot. But still, we have to monitor the situation closely, because anything can happen, okay? If we start seeing massive layoffs, it's going to definitely impact the housing market. If we don't see massive layoffs, right now we have like crazy employment, which is amazing, right? So yeah, that is definitely going to keep things hot right now, because everyone is working, right? Now, unfortunately, their money that they're getting paid is not going as far, and we're gonna see how that plays out and how that plays out into the housing market. But regardless, I still think if you're a buyer, it might be a good time to just relax and take it easy, and just study the market a little bit longer. If you're a seller, definitely talk to a financial advisor, see what is the best solution for you. Remember, if you sell a house, you gotta move somewhere else, right? And right now, that rental market just hit an all-time high in the United States of something like $2,000 a month. So think about that, okay? We have a really hot rental market. It's really hard to get into rentals, and they're at astronomical prices right now, which is basically sucking more money out of the working class. So it's all kind of up in the air right now. It's all up in the air. I predict a big crash coming, a big recession coming. It's gonna be scary, I know, but when things are this hot, it could basically burn down the whole house, right? You gotta be careful. Imagine you have a fireplace in your house, and you have the perfect fire and it's great, and you put a few too many logs, and you're like, hey, it's too much fire for inside the house, even inside the fireplace. But imagine if it gets even hotter and hotter, and you keep putting more wood in there. Yeah, eventually the flames could go outside of the fireplace and burn your entire house down. So that is what basically inflation can do, right? You have to make sure that you control it. It's very, very important. And it's kind of scary. And I know that we didn't have an increase in inflation this month, and that's probably because gas prices came down. But it's not all about gas prices, okay? It's also about GDP and consumer spending. That is very important. And I believe that if people are buying, if it's costing more people to buy a gallon of milk, then they have less money to buy other stuff. Think about that, okay? Now, very fun video today. I know there's a lot to digest, but you know what? That's what I'm here for, and I love making these videos. And I just want to say a special thank you for everyone who's been supporting my channel. I've been getting a lot of views on my videos, and I want to say thank you so much. You guys are the best. If you're new to this channel and you like my videos, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and go ahead and like and leave a comment. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.